Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Wednesday, September the 21st. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Taking profit. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Taking profit. Many times you will hear me talk about, taking a pip or 2 pips or 3 pips, usually less than 10 pips. Now, there's a lot of traders out there in the internet world, trading forums. They'll just poo-poo all over that. They'll show you, a 238 pip run and a 579 pip run, etc., etc. But the reality is, maybe they do it, maybe they don't. I know. I'm trying to remember what my biggest win was. I don't know if I ever had a 100 pip run or not on one single trade, maybe a 50. Like I said, I can't remember because most of my runs are a lot smaller. And the reason they're a lot smaller is, one, because I am an intraday trader. Some people misname us as scalpers because that's not really what we're doing technically. We're just trying to take advantage of things that we see on the chart and the small price movements. So, for example, when you look at this chart, and today's a weird day because everybody's waiting on the FOMC announcement at, I think it's 2 o'clock New York time, and see what's happening. So you can see here the pound is pretty much range bound between the 30 down here and the 50 up here. And what I normally do when I'm trading this type of trade is I rely on the range indicator a whole lot to tell me when to take profit. So, for example, if I were to go long at 40, and we've already have 2.2 pip move right here, I'd be getting out when it probably got somewhere near 5 or 6 pip in range. Now, since it's been struggling here, I would probably get out when I had a pip or 2 profit, just because I wouldn't want it to reverse on me. So we'll just sit and watch a couple of these candles here. And I use M5 because you can see, for the most part, you'll get a nice range. So if you can get somewhere between 2 and 4 pips out of each one of these ranges, you could make 20 pips an hour. Actually, no. Let's see, yeah, because there's 12 5-minute bars in an hour, and if you got 2 pips every 5 minutes, that's 24 pips. You could be done for the day in an hour. Of course, you have to implement your stop loss, and once again, a lot of times that can be dictated either by the range, or it could be dictated by position on the chart, or it could be dictated by, you say, well, I'm only going to take a 3 pip stop loss or 4 pip stop loss. So you see right here, we moved to 5-1. I would have been out of that trade right there and take my pips off the table. So now we're coming back across the previous H1 high, but we've got green on H1 through, well, actually H4 through M15. But had you taken the trade just candle color at the line, I believe you may have had your pip or 2. Now, the other thing about taking profit, if I'm going against the H1 M30 candle color, I am more likely to just grab a pip or two. And so right here, you had an opportunity to grab 2, maybe 3 pips. And you can see price is moving against you. And so you could be done with this candle. So there was a trade to the upside worth 2 or 3, trade to the downside worth 2 or 3. And usually, for the most part, I don't go to the well more than twice in a candle. Usually only once. Only if I really see something will I dig back and, go for a second time. Because usually, if you go for 2 or 3, sometimes you'll get burned. And the other thing about taking profit is you have to look at how long it's taking price to move. So if it takes most of the 5-minute bar for it to move this long, you want to be out. But if you get it in that first minute, then maybe you could go back in. And so you see here, we're sitting at 4.4 pips. We got a little over 2.5 minutes to go in the bar. I would be done with this bar and I just wait to the next bar. So once again, taking profit could be a set pip or dollar amount. It could be after it's moved, prices move so many pips based on the range of whatever time frame you're trading in. It could be based on time in trade. You just might want to close it every bar and just get out. Or it could be after you can look on the chart and see if it's going to hit an area where it struggles. But usually that'll come into play in the range gauge. Oh, and this is the smart ranges indicator. So see here, you wait it for the bar to close, you may have picked up more pips. But I find you can have a much higher hit rate if you just go for those 2 or 3 pips and just do that repeatedly. Now, the one other thing I've been doing recently is I'll come over here to the Sweet Spots Gold indicator and I will turn that into current, and sub-levels I will use 4. Why 4? Because usually, as you can see here, most of these numbers are bigger than 4. We've got one that isn't. And you can just look at the chart and see when it hits the line, it'll usually move to the next line because the lines are spaced 4 apart. So the next line is my target. So from here to here was a target. And in this case, from here to here was a target. And you can see how many times they hit those targets. But a lot of times I won't try and take the entire 4. It just depends on how price moves. And you can also see here sometimes it doesn't move your way. So depending on how you're trading, what you want to do with your stop loss, if you want to enter multiple times thinking it's okay. So for example, you can see here is price is rejecting out of this area. But so if you had entered the trade short here and price rejected, well, one, you you were entering where price is getting rejected. So, but if you didn't see that, then you see price here, maybe you go for a second run, and then you could have popped out with 4 pips on this trade and basically a scratch on that trade. So here we have a new M5. If you would have tried to short the 40, that first hit, you'd be underwater slightly. You'd be going against the H1 candle color. You'd be going against the M30 candle color. And you can see here, price pretty much opened right around the 42, which is the halfway point. So that's already 2 pips out of the 4 or 5 pip run. And then if it gets to here, that would be from here to here is 4 pips. So entering at the line going long, you're only looking at maybe a pip or 2. And you can see here price is already rejected here twice, now 3 times. And if you notice this price box here, this is the ask. And the way this price meter is set up, if it's above the H1 open, it'll show the ask because you should be going long, and that's where you'd get in at. If it's below, then it would show the bid, and the bid would be right on the line, because that's the way MT4 plots. It plots the bid and the ask. It really doesn't plot time and sales. So now a second attempt. So one other trick or tactic that I may use is if it goes one way and comes back to the open of the candle, then I'll take the trade. So in this case, it went up to the, made the high, came back to the open. I would go short. Or if it came down, made a low back to the open, I would go long. But you can see here, its price is kind of waffling. It's making a lower high, slightly higher low. So this will be an inside bar. Unless it breaks. We've got about a minute left. Oh, and somebody said they wanted to see me trade live. You know, back in the day when I was living in Tucson, Arizona, when I had 5 computers online and, you know, high-speed internet cable, I could do that because I had the bandwidth. I had a computer set up, and all I did was use it for communications, email, pal talk, whatever other communications, you know. I don't know, remember they had Facebook back then, but and then I had a computer that I did all my development on, and then I had 3 computers hooked to brokers. So yeah, I could do that, but now I'm on cellular internet. I just don't have the bandwidth. Otherwise, we could do some live trading. So that's the reason why I don't do live. I just don't have the bandwidth, because running a trading platform and then running a trying to run a live stream would just be impossible. So fellow traders, I hope some of those tips helped, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.